Hello everyone and welcome back to the fifth and final weekend of the 2024-25 Optegra Championship here at the Lee Westwood Sports Centre, where you join myself, Ryan Sipple, for this very intriguing game between Hull and East Yorkshire and Nottingham Forest. I'll bring you the squads and then apply that context so you know exactly why it's intriguing. Hull and East Yorkshire, nice complement at their disposal. Luke Brennan, Kai Gill, Aston Walls, Callum Jefferson, Joel Rothery, Harrison Smith and Emma Hodson. Lee Brennan, their coach. And for Nottingham Forest, the challengers, they have Gary Meakin, Jack Bosanquet, Riley Priestley, Finley Cooper and Ben Rogers. I'll show you the league standings so you can see why it's intriguing. Nottingham Forest on 11 points, currently within the jeopardy spots of the championship, so it's almost certain that anyone that finishes 12th and or 11th will be put in a playoff day here at the Lee Westwood Sports Centre on Saturday, June the 14th. Hull and East Yorkshire just a point above them on 12. You could see what a win for either of these two sides would do for the overall outcome or momentum, as both desperately try to secure enough points to ensure they're not drawn into that playoff game, which, when you consider the quality in and around the regional leagues, nothing is a formality. So a huge game. Manchester City will be looking to make up some ground. AFC Bournemouth Warriors set to kick off on Court B against current league leaders Muscle Warriors. You would say that it would be almost impossible for them to oversee what is currently a 7-point deficit over 11th and 10th, but they will still have the opportunity to secure their spot in the 25-26 National League Championship if they're successful in their fixtures on June 14th. But if you're looking at the records of these two sides, both have played 18, both have won 3. Hull and East Yorkshire with just one more draw over Nottingham Forest, hence the 1 point bumper. But I have to say, this battle towards the bottom, for me, is just as compelling, as intriguing as the one at the top. And it looks like within 20 seconds or so, Muscle Warriors have taken a 1-goal advantage over AFC Bournemouth Warriors. Let's see if that table updates to reflect that scoreline, and what would then put them to an 8-point lead over GBG Knights in second. Let's look at the live league top goal scorers. George Holloway leads the line, 20. Oscar Mulgrew 16. Jacob Vickers will be looking to add goals within their game against AFC Bournemouth Warriors. Top versus bottom. But here we have Hull and East Yorkshire versus Nottingham Forest. Let's clear those graphics so you can see Carolyn Goldsborough in the centre, talking with Gary Meakin and Kai Gill, the respective captains of Nottingham Forest and Hull and East Yorkshire. And we will soon be underway. An incredible opening game between Sale United and GBG Knights went in favour of the Manchester-based side, really putting a dent in the title aspirations of GBG Knights. But we are very soon to getting underway. Carolyn Goldsborough looks at her watch, complimented by Jeff Lewis and Jamie King. Thumbs up from Jack Bosanquet. Thumbs up from Aston Walls, and we are underway in the second fixture of the day here on Court A, game week 5 of the 24-25 Optegra Championship. What a season it's been, and hopefully this game delivers. Early pressure from Riley Priestley as he pressures the goal all the way from one side of the court to the other. Luke Brennan, now the leading scorer of Hull and East Yorkshire. The ball trapped between Ben Rogers and Luke Brennan as he advanced his way up the court, flicked out of play for a Nottingham Forest ball. Riley Priestley with the kick in his bottom right hand corner into the box, off the back wheel of Aston Walls, out for a corner kick. I'm delighted now to be joined on commentary by David D, hot off an incredible 2-0 victory over GBG Knights. How are you?
I'm actually outstanding right now, Ryan. I'm over the moon really with the result. We didn't expect it, but we came out in the good at the end.
Riley Priestley into Ben Rogers, flicked. No one there to receive. I said to Jack Hassan that to do none of your former results any discredit, but for me that was probably your most impressive win in the National League.
The result, I state it was the result of the season. I think the only result that really comes closer to me was when we drew 2-2 to Teesside and came back 2-2. But I think this one definitely tops that.
Yeah, without question. The system that you adopted, how you nullified the attack, an attack comprised of some of the brightest, most prolific players in the country. They had very little success, and from the get-go, you really frustrated them.
That was a whole game plan, just to keep it calm and almost try and be a bit tactically clever in the game. And it looks like Hull have had a really good chance there, but Hull have got a corner now.
Apologies if our attention was slightly taken away from this game. Hannah Hindley had an opportunity to safeguard her record-breaking stat on Court B. She had a penalty against AFC Bournemouth Warriors, and she would have been the first player to ever score for 6 different clubs, I believe, in the National League. She already leads the way in terms of 5, but unfortunately her effort wide of the left-hand post. But let's go through the starting squads of these two as we have played 3 minutes. Hull and East Yorkshire, the designated home team, have Aston Walls, Kai Gill, Joel Rothery and Luke Brennan. And for Nottingham Forest, they have Jack Bosanquet, Ben Rogers, Riley Priestley and Finley Cooper. Over to the back post.
Oh, Luke Brennan just slightly late on that ball. Literally milliseconds earlier, he would have connected with the contact, and hopefully he would have put that in the back of the net.
Yeah, I have to give Kai Gill credit. He slotted the ball between Riley Priestley and Ben Rogers. But already in the opening 4 or so minutes, it's been fairly end-to-end. Both have to secure a win if they are to put a little bit of distance between themselves and the jeopardy spots at the bottom. David, you'll know, you've played you've played part in fights for survival in the Championship division, and how games against comparable rivals and competitors in and around the bottom placements, these are 6-point affairs. There's no question about them, and if you come away with 3 points, if either of these two come away with that ultimate win, what that would do for confidence ahead of game week 5, but your placement in the table as well.
It's an absolute dogfight at the bottom. From experience, everyone, it's absolute carnage. Everyone needs the points, always needs the points, and these games really are the ones that count. These games are really the ones that make or break seasons. Cargill to take a kick in for Hull.
Can he replicate that sort of accuracy? This time, Joel Rothery at the back post, no doubt. Luke Brennan will probably act as that screen, that dummy in the centre, as he does brilliantly. And his opportunity.
Oh, just wide of the post.
It shaved the post in there. But Kai Gill already is exhibiting that accuracy from them dead balls that you want to see. And they're causing Nottingham Forest some issues.
Forest are under pressure, aren't they? They are really under the cosh right now. All they need is just to have that little bit of break, that little bit of just space and time to be able to almost calm down, relax, and just take their time and almost not concede too early. Because when you concede too early, you lose your flow of the game. The negative thoughts start coming in, and your mind just starts thinking more negatively by the minute. But that's a great pass by Riley Priestley. Driving towards goal.
That's good. That's really good interception from Aston Walls, playing against his former side. Worth noting. Played many seasons for Nottingham Forest. Opted to change his National League team in the summer, and is now enjoying a bit more responsibility with Hull. This is a good chance for Nottingham Forest. Well shepherded out of play there from Guy Gill. Just put his chair in a position that restricted the space of Ben Rogers and meant that he couldn't line up a shot. Already I'm liking what I'm seeing from Hull and East Yorkshire. A maturity, an experience that they clearly have over Nottingham Forest, having competed in the Championship and the Premiership last season. You have to bring that experience to the fore and use it to your advantage against relatively inexperienced sides.
It feels like they've almost matured a bit. They've almost matured since the last game week. They're so calm, they're so relaxed in the way that they play. They're not bothered without the ball. They know they can win their ball back if they get in the right areas. All they need to do is restrict Ben Rogers, almost get him in a chokehold and not let him get those passes distributed, because he's very good at distributing those passes.
He's the star player of that side. There's no question about that. I mean, Finlay Cooper's just starting to grow in confidence, not long being a National League player. Riley Priestley likewise. But the combination of Jack Bosanquet and Ben Rogers has been key to their success if and when they've had it in the 24-25 season. And Ben Rogers, as well as Finlay Cooper, Aston Walls, Riley Priestley, they're among the players alongside yourself on the Regional Emerging Talent Programme at the moment. So you've kind of got a different perspective as to their characters, as to their ability. And from the times we've been together in Stoke, it's clear that they have the ability. It's just about that materialising and coming to the fore in the National League in competitive games, which is sometimes a lot easier said than done.
It's so difficult to be able to perform at a high level in National League. The pressure's on, the floodlights are showing down, and it's game time. And honestly, the players that you've just mentioned now in the Regional Emerging Talent Programme, they've got so much potential, they've got so much ability. All they need is that little bit of confidence, that little bit of, right, I've scored a goal in the National League, right, we've played well against a really good team in the National League. Just that little bit of, just that bit of something that they can go off, something that they can build off to create better performances.
Interestingly there, Hull and East Yorkshire had a set piece, had a kick in on the left-hand side and opted to use Aston Walls, who just didn't have that same power and or accuracy that's been shown by Kai Gill. They've obviously got some sort of fluid understanding as to the roles and the responsibilities, but I would like to see Kai Gill taking responsibility of the majority of set pieces and dead balls, because as we've seen already this game, he is incredibly accurate and can put some nice power on the ball. So that's my little word of advice.
He's their main man, isn't he? He's their star man.
He's been there since the start, as has Luke Brennan. Luke Brennan in game week 4, I believe, matched Cole Simpson as the all-time scorer for Hull and East Yorkshire on, I think, 49 goals. I'd have to double check that, but if he gets another, he will become the all-time top goal scorer of the side, and that will no doubt please himself, his family and his teammates a great deal. So I hope that can be a reality across their fixtures. And if you're referencing those fixtures, they play Leeds Dynamos, Villa Rockets and Teesside Steel from this. So a really tough run of fixtures, and it puts even more pressure on them getting 3 points from this game against the only team currently below them in the standings.
And that's a shot from Joel Rothery.
Yeah, good opportunity. Jack Bosanquet read it. Didn't quite have the power to trouble the Forest goalkeeper, but the warning signs are there. And again, this is where I want to see Kai Gill taking these set pieces. I just feel he adds a little bit more
Experience, really.
maybe experience, but just the power and the accuracy. But that is not bad. The flag is raised by Jeff Lewis. Was it 3 in the box?
I'm not sure what it is.
I think it's three in the box. Great.
This is a good chance, this.
It is. So now this is their first kind of attacking set piece, although indirect. Be interesting to see who opts to take it. There's a slight conversation going on between Kai Gill and coach Lee Brennan, but it will be the captain with responsibility, it looks. Just talking with Joel Rothery. So he's going to have options either side of him. Indirect has to come off the chair of an opponent or teammate to be registered as a goal. I think Luke Brennan is probably the favoured option, just the way that Kai Gill is shaping up. But don't discount a crossfield ball across to Joel Rothery, who he opts for.
I feel that's a bit of a wasted opportunity.
Slightly disappointed. I said it in your game against GBG Knights, and we've spoken about it before when we was commentating on the Cup a few weeks ago, about that balance with taking quick, decisive set pieces and free kicks, but how that can often come to the detriment of quality and preparation and quality. So whilst you want to take them quickly to catch the opposition unaware, if you're not set, if your teammates are not set, the outcome is almost inevitable. But a challenge we've set for Riley Priestley. In game week 1, he scored 7 goals in a single game against AFC Bournemouth Warriors. I think the first player to ever do so in the National League. He hasn't scored since that. So in game week 5, we're setting the challenge of ensuring he adds to that impressive tally. And a challenge I've set for you, David, whilst I was commentating your game, double digits for both goals and assists. You're now on 8 goals, 9 assists, which means you're right on the edge of securing that. Hull and East Yorkshire have made their first substitute. Harrison Smith has come on. Off comes Joel Rothery. But yeah, double digits.
I think it's very doable. I think
if you play how you played against GBG Knights in your follow-up games, it will almost certainly be possible, if not inevitable.
In the GBG game, though, I thought, particularly, I want to shine light to Jake Hudson. I thought he played absolutely outstandingly.
I commended every single one of you, particularly Jake Hudson, for the role that he performs in that Sale United side. The foundation he provides, yourself, Jack Hassan and Mason Davies, you wouldn't be able to do what you do without the strength that he provides at the back. This is a good opportunity for Nottingham Forest, however, and arguably against the run of play they have an opportunity in a probably more favourable angle than that of Hull and East Yorkshire's earlier indirect free kick. Gary Meakin in the centre has just come on in place of Riley Priestley's first involvement's going to be a goal scoring one, and well defended by Kai Gill. It remains Hull and East Yorkshire 0, Nottingham Forest 0.
You know what it feels like for Nottingham? It feels like they're lacking ideas, if that makes sense. They're lacking a bit of creativity. All they need is like just a bit of something a bit different.
Yeah, they haven't really unlocked Finley Cooper, have they? Finley Cooper's normally an attacking wide winger, but he hasn't seen much service, and that I think we have to give credit to the roles performed by mainly Aston Walls and Kai Gill as the kind of the central pairing.
That experience that Gary Meakin brings to the team is invaluable. played so many years in the National Leagues. But that's what these young players like Ben Rogers, Finley Cooper, Jack Bosanquet, that's what they need to learn off someone who's been in the National League for so long and got so much experience. Great ball across. Jack Bosanquet clears it very well though.
Have to be careful of the 2-on-1s here. Harrison Smith slightly caught in that top right-hand corner. Yeah, nice experience shown by Gary Meakin. Finley Cooper switches sides just to ensure the Forest captain is given the space. Kai Gill. 15.5 minutes played. Nothing to separate these two. That's a good pass.
Ball. Corner. Well defended by Jack Bosanquet.
Really important. Little touch to just take it out the path of Luke Brennan. And a corner kick will be the result. Again, I'd like to see Kai Gill taking these. I really would.
I would as well. I think he's being used not to the best of his ability in this corner. Across though. Behind. Oh, well defended by Ben Rogers there. An inch more forward, that would have gone in.
I have to say, a save you made in that GBG Knights game was incredible. Just about nicked off the front, probably 2 or 3 inches of your bumper. I think it was Oscar Smedley who had the attempt, and that was at 1-0, I think. That was a game-changing interception and clearance. Such fine margins in power chair football as we're seeing in this game. Millimetres can result in a through ball. That's unfortunate from Finley Cooper, slightly unaware of Aston Walls' placement.
I'd like to see Finley Cooper come towards that ball a bit, play it back to Ben Rogers, maybe try and play back to go forward.
It's something that I've challenged him to do, and he did it there. He's staying in reverse, doing everything he can to ensure his visibility is as great as possible, and staying in reverse does that far better than driving onto the ball. But yeah, just remaining alert would be the challenge and the advice for Finley Cooper. He's isolated for 90-95% of this game, but there will be those opportunities like now. Front bumper pick off.
Goal for Finley Cooper.
Just as we was talking about him to stay alert, he is isolated for 90-95% of the game. But if he can ensure when those opportunities come his way, he's there to capitalise. And on that occasion, he did it brilliantly. I have to commend the pick-off assist from Gary Meakin. You spoke about the experience and how that plays such a crucial role in the way Forest play and set up, and how the younger players really feed off it. On that occasion, it just came off brilliantly. And after 18 minutes, Nottingham Forest, maybe against the run of play, have a 1-goal advantage.
Even though it's against the run of play, it's great play to get that pick off from Gary Meakin to get it to Finley Cooper. And Finley Cooper, he's got to keep a cool head. He's got to keep calm. And he does it so well. Front bumper, back of the net. Simple stuff, so effective.
Absolutely it is. So nice to come just as we were spotlighting him.
Perfect time to score, isn't it? Just before half time.
Oh, massively. The confidence that will give the side now, who can probably set up a little bit more defensively. The first goal was always going to be so important for this game.
And it's through to the back post. Harrison Smith! That didn't last long, did it?
It certainly didn't. Absolutely brilliant stuff. This game has just burst into life. Harrison Smith benefiting from, David, I must say, a set piece taken from Kai Gill.
Point proven, point executed.
It's just his execution, his power, his accuracy is a clear improvement on the other players of Hull and East Yorkshire. It's a real skill set of Kai Gill to do none of the other players a disservice, but we saw there why when they use it, they can do it so effectively. And seconds after Finley Cooper opened the scoring for Nottingham Forest, Kai Gill orchestrates a beautiful piece of play, and Harrison Smith tucks away to make it 1-1.
I don't want this half to end, Ryan. It's been so entertaining.
It was the same as your game with GBG Knights, the same here. All I asked for is competitive, intriguing fixtures, and it hasn't disappointed. This season as a whole has been incredible, and I hope this level of football, and this is, relatively speaking, at the bottom of the Championship, but you wouldn't know it if you didn't have the context of the league standings, which I'll bring up at the half-time break. We're now 30 seconds over the regulation 20. But I don't know who really grabs onto this game. I'll stand by. I think Hull and East Yorkshire have had more success. They've had more possession and territory in the Forest half. But Forest just look a little bit more clinical if and when they get their opportunities. Let's see if they can capitalise here as we approach a minute over. Gary Meakin.
Gary Meakin! Finley Cooper back post! Oh!
I just would have liked to see Finley Cooper be a little bit more positioned, little bit more central there. He was slightly too wide. And whilst I am a real advocate for wingers staying in reverse, I think there was an opportunity there to drive onto the ball head on and guide an effort goal bound, but irrelevant of that. A fantastic first 20 minutes of football. Both teams have success. Both scored brilliant goals, and I don't know how to call it.
I think it's a fair result for the first half, and I think both teams really have to go for it. They're in a relegation scrap. They've got nothing to lose. They have to go for it. Let's
show the live league standing so you can see exactly how that affects things. Obviously, a point apiece would see Nottingham Forest leapfrog Manchester City in the standings. So, as it currently sits, Forest would be technically safe. But you can see what a potential 3 points or an additional 2 points from what they've currently got would do for their placement in the standings. Both have very tough follow-up games in game week 5. So this is the opportunity to secure some points.
They really need the points here. I mean, it's so tight at the bottom between particularly City, Forest and Hull. It's so unbelievably tight, and it's just any points will do. Any points will make a difference. Any points will make that impact.
That it absolutely will. Thank you to everyone that's tuning in, to myself and David. We will be back very shortly for the second half of this game between Hull and East Yorkshire and Nottingham Forest. everyone, and welcome back to this second half in this fixture between Hull and East Yorkshire and Nottingham Forest. Nothing to separate the two at the half-time break. A sensational first 20 minutes of football, wouldn't you agree, David?
It's been absolutely outstanding. I didn't want the half to end.
Just hoping for more of the same. We spotlighted players. Ben Rogers playing a really key role, as is Gary Meakin's experience for Forest. Finley Cooper with a brilliant finish, just making sure that he's alert, ready to capitalise on any potential opportunities that come his way. And for Hull and East Yorkshire, we commended the service and the deliveries of Kai Gills from dead balls, from set pieces, and how he's attacking teammates. Notably Harrison Smith and Luke Brennan were really benefiting from that service, but we want to see that utilised across this second half. They did switch things up, and we saw Aston Walls taking set pieces, we saw Luke Brennan taking set pieces, as we're seeing so here. It's just an interesting approach, I think. When you know something's so effective, why would you opt to change it?
And
that is one of the most... that opportunity, and the camera is so perfectly situated. I've just watched it back on the stream. How had Harrison Smith engaged that even a tiny bit, I think Jack Bosanquet would have cleared or blocked an initial effort. But there was two players in orange and black ready to capitalise in and around the box. That's the warning sign.
Wow, they've come out guns blazing in the second half, really. Oh, what a start.
I got tongue-tied trying to talk through that. Such a brilliant opportunity. Just as we're saying that we want to see Kai Gill on set pieces, he's also so good as that first receiver to then distribute it to one of his teammates. His accuracy has been sensational this game.
Wow, just wow.
Whether he's the primary or the secondary passer of the ball. But they won't want to lower their levels of concentration. A 2-on-1 in favour of Nottingham Forest here. A very impressive Ben Rogers to take into the goal scorer, Finley Cooper, locked up by Aston Walls, long-time player of Nottingham Forest. He'll no doubt have a level of understanding and experience playing against these players, training with these players week in, week out.
Oh, is that going to stick in the near post? But great defender by Kai Gill.
He's just everywhere. He's like a Swiss Army knife. He has so many different purposes and functions, and he's just been central to everything in both defence and attack, and everything in between for that matter.
Completely agree. He's been absolutely vital for Hull this season. I think he's really showing his true value in this game.
Ben Rogers with the almost impossible task of bypassing Kai Gill. Just playing with so much confidence. It's so nice to see. Out for a Nottingham Forest ball. It's better. They're edging their way ever so slightly and slowly down into the Hull and East Yorkshire half. Finley Cooper's at the back post. His positioning is slightly better, slightly more central as Ben Rogers fires an effort into a very stationary Kai Gill.
Kai Gill covers it though very well.
It was almost a lapse in concentration. I think Kai Gill was trying to cover the option of Finley Cooper, and in doing so, the gap presented itself.
Ben Rogers just getting a little bit frustrated.
Aston Walls reversing.
No contact there.
Yeah, Aston Walls definitely reversing into the back of Ben Rogers.
I thought that was in the box, but it's just outside.
It's hard to distinguish at our level. We're court level, and we can't necessarily distinguish between the lines on the far end of the Lee Westwood Sports Centre. But a direct free kick. Ben Rogers to take. Gary Meakin in a really good position.
He's going for the near post. Trying to get that nick off Aston Walls at the end. Back to Ben Rogers.
Just didn't quite get that sharp
Finley
contact.
Cooper in the middle. Not a usual position that he plays. Recovered by Ben Rogers though.
They've got an overload here, Hull and East Yorkshire. If they're able to bypass Ben Rogers. This is brave from Hull. Obviously committing players forward, of course, these vulnerabilities in behind. But they're seeming to strike that balance pretty effectively so far. We've had 25 minutes, still 1-1.
I'd go down the line to Finley Cooper here. I don't think Gary Meek is an option. It's easily cut out by Aston Walls. Aston Walls to Ben Rogers. Full spins, Finley Cooper. Oh.
It's good football. Nice, short, snappy passes between Gary Meakin and Ben Rogers. Again, just focusing on that readiness and that alertness of Finley Cooper can really prove the difference between success and the ball going in the favour of Hull and East Yorkshire. Kai Gill into Harrison Smith. It's a dangerous pass, that.
Gary Meakin, I knew what he was doing.
Caught in two minds.
It was the right thing.
He should have
hesitated.
And then with power chair football, the fine margins, with it being so high pace, high octane, even a split second's hesitation can affect things.
One thing that I was first told when I started playing power chair football is that never hesitate. Always,
just
the first instinct that you've got is 9 out of 10 times the right instinct.
Yeah. Harrison Smith, very close to Luke Brennan there. In instances like that, knowing that you can't wrap your chair around it, it would have probably been the better option for Harrison Smith just to let it roll out of play. Something that comes with experience. Harrison Smith, as is Callum Jefferson, playing their first ever seasons in the National League. Ben Rogers with the kick in.
He's trying to gain territory, I think, there, and he's done it well, actually. I would have liked to try and see him play it to a player, though, to be honest, try and keep possession.
You can understand it. It's almost like an NFL approach, isn't it? Just edging yourself and your team down, which will, of course, provide that attacking threat, but will take pressure off Jack Bosanquet and his defensive responsibilities. The ball's in the other half. It's not threatening your goal, and when the margins are so fine, it's probably worth noting that just based on the standings, Nottingham Forest will need points, or a win, sorry, more than Hull and Yorkshire, but that's relative. He's got another opportunity here.
Good hit. Can he distribute it? I would have liked to see him go to Finley Cooper there. Just let it slightly roll off his bum for a bit. Driving towards net. Can he beat Kai Gill? Smashed it to the back. Finley Cooper at the back post!
Good save. Good reading from Kai Gill. You can almost sense like nervous energy, can't you? Knowing what's at stake.
Game week 5 is always the most nervous game week, where battles are won and lost, teams are relegated, teams win titles.
And that's why I think we're seeing Sale United be so effective and play such good football, because you're at no threat of jeopardy positions at the bottom, nor can you really threaten teams above you at this point of the season. So you can just play with freedom and confidence, knowing that the risks are minimal, but the rewards are potentially high.
100%. I mean, we set our aims at the beginning of the season, and I hope by the end of this game week we can really accomplish them.
Well, we've spoken about it. I've said it on commentary. The ultimate objective now for Sale United is finishing above Manchester United, your close rivals and sister club. Had plenty of unwanted attention today wearing my Tottenham shirt, which you're not best pleased with, David.
No.
Being a die-hard Manchester United fan.
Of course. Didn't play well in the game, but, you know, you win some, you lose some. But, yeah, just a rubbish performance.
Back to the power chair football. This is a much more entertaining game, it must be said.
100%.
Aston Walls just cushions it. No doubt intended to go out of play, and Ben Rogers has gone all the way round.
I think his intention there, Ben Rogers, was to try and get round Aston Walls to try and get through on goal. But when you go round someone like that, it's never gonna work. So that's such a tight angle, and just the other defender will cut you off very easily.
Very patient play here from Ben Rogers. Just playing it off Luke Brennan. Trying to create some space.
He's done that very well. Gary Meakin, full spin! Slightly off the contact.
Had he made clean contact with that, it would have almost certainly been a goal scoring opportunity.
That is a Forest. I thought it was a Forest kick in that.
No.
Anyway, ref's decision.
It was a nice clearance from Ben Rogers. But Jack Bosanquet has most certainly been the quietest player in this second half, has had little to no involvement, which will no doubt please the coaches of Nottingham Forest. But as mentioned, they need a win.
Substitution, Riley Priestley coming on for Gary Meakin.
Yeah, a reverse of the earlier change made by Nottingham Forest. So they do sacrifice that little bit of experience, but you'd probably say Riley Priestley has a little bit more dynamism. Couldn't quite angle his chair to threaten the Hull and East Yorkshire goal there. But Hull not having much success in way of attack. Kai Gill hasn't been able to impart his influence as much as he did in that first half. Controlled by Luke Brennan. Intercepted by Ben Rogers. Out for a whole ball. Kai Gill. Down to Luke Brennan. Pick off, no doubt intended for Harry Smith. 2-on-1.
Dangerous opportunity here.
Yeah, it is. These are the opportunities they have to make count.
6 minutes remaining. This is do or die here, really. A goal scored here. This would be legendary. Kai Gill. Looks like he's heading to Luke Brennan. Does. Luke Brennan to the back post, but cut out by Ben Rogers.
Has to be careful of that ricochet. Good positioning from Kai Gill, because had Ben Rogers bypassed him, Riley Priestley and Finley Cooper were ready to break away on the counter. It's that set
it's got
piece.
through to the back post, but great block by Jack Bosanquet.
It needed it. Rushed off his line to prevent that and block up that passing lane. A passing lane that's been so effectively utilised by Kai Gill.
Great ball. Finley Cooper, can he do something with it? Makes an effort towards goal, still keeps the chance alive. But he's back with Kai Gill.
That's
it's
a
beautiful ball to Luke
sensational
Brennan.
pass.
Luke Brennan across. That is absolutely outstanding.
That is one of the best goals I've seen in a long time. The distribution from Kai Gill, something we have been spotlighting all game. The patience of Luke Brennan and the alertness of Harry Smith just to shepherd it over the line. It's going to, of course, the Luke Brennan goal, but...
Oh, that's his 50th, isn't it? He's Hull's top ever goal scorer.
And what a way to do it as well. But once again, can I just say, the distribution from Kai Gill has been incredible. Absolutely incredible. You probably can't pick up the atmosphere around the Lee Westwood Sports Centre, but there was roars of jubilation as that went over the line.
Oh, it sneaked in the back. Hold it there, that's what I'd say. Do not move. Give away the set ball, just don't move.
People watching on YouTube will have the benefit of going and re-watching replays. But if you want to see how to score a quick, decisive, counter-attacking goal with laser precision, that would be a prime example and video to reference.
How's that a goal kick? I thought it was a set ball.
Here we go. Opportunity. Harrison Smith slightly too wide to capitalise. Pick off from Kai Gill. He does find Luke Brennan.
To the other side. Oh, I can see what he's attempting there.
He has to be careful though, because Ben Rogers could have capitalised and set Riley Priestley away.
3 minutes left on the clock. This could be such a valuable win, such a valuable goal for Hull. All they need to do is keep calm and keep collected. But here comes to Finley Cooper, hits the ball across to Riley Priestley.
And now it's an opportunity from Hull from one end to the other.
What a ball!
Harrison Smith!
Oh my Lord! That would have been the game.
That would have been the game, but now we have a game on. One end to the other. What an advert for Power Chair Football and the National League this is. And I have to apply the context once again. This is at the bottom of the championship. These are two teams fighting to ensure that they are present in the 25-26 season.
Forest have not put themselves in an easy position now. 2 minutes and 45 seconds left on the clock. Can one of them come up with a moment? Can one of them make the difference?
Riley Priestley with the set piece. Down to Ben Rogers. Across the box. Locked up and eventually off of the chair of Aston Walls.
Riley Priestley.
You question whether they could potentially use Jack Bosanquet here as a fourth option.
The ball at his bumper. Can he make a difference?
Keep an eye on Finley Cooper at the back post. Goes all the way to Finley Cooper.
Well defended by Kai Gill.
Just the slightest touch to just take it out the path of the Forest number 24. He's been incredible. This is one of the best performances I've seen from Kai Gill in a very long time.
Across the box. Well defended by Aston Walls, however. Good defended by Aston Walls there.
Sounds like full time on court B. As you can see from that graphic, AFC Bournemouth Warriors 0, Muscle Warriors 4. So further safeguarding their position as the league leaders here at the bottom of the championship. Hull and East Yorkshire look like they're going to have a buffer over themselves and the jeopardy spots in 12th and 11th.
It's going to be tight between Forest and City, isn't it?
It is. We'll bring up the live league standings at the conclusion of this game in just a minute, plus any additional time that Cowling Goldsborough has accrued. But what an incredible game. Moments of magic and pure quality. Two assists from Kai Gill, finishes from Harrison Smith and Luke Brennan for Nottingham Forest.
Looking at the man of the match here.
There's only one player.
You've got to give it to Kai Gill.
There is only one player. And to come back from 1-0 down as well, to reverse the scoreline in your favour, knowing how high the stakes are. Takes a level of maturity and experience, and once again his distribution splits open Nottingham Forest. He's going to get another attempt. Pick off, just intercepted by...
This is a counter-attack. Can Riley Priestley do so? Facing the wrong way.
He is facing the wrong way. He should have stayed in reverse there. We're seeing Finley Cooper be really effective at staying in reverse.
Ball, but Harrison Smith through to Luke Brennan. Can he make a difference? Straight up Jack Bosanquet. That looks, they're a bit close there. I think that might be a 2-on-1.
They have to talk. It's just getting a little bit sloppy in these closing stages, but that concludes a sensational game. Round of applause from everyone here at the Lee Westwood Sports Centre. Hull and East Yorkshire 2, Nottingham Forest 1. Give me your thoughts.
From beginning to end, that was pure entertainment. The last goal, 5 minutes left to go. Kai Gill plays one of the, I think, Hull's goal of the season. That beautiful ball to Luke Brennan, and the finish from Luke Brennan was outstanding. Just overall, brilliant performance from Hull. And Forest, unlucky, but they've got to keep their heads up. They are still in it.
Absolutely they are. You can see on your screens at the moment the live league standings. That takes Hull and East Yorkshire up to 15 points. So they now have a 4-point buffer over Manchester City and Nottingham Forest. Manchester City do, however, have a game in hand, but they're set to kick off on Court B very shortly against the most informed team in the division, Teesside Steel. So they'll be very fortunate to get anything from that, which will further put Hull and East Yorkshire's position into positive light. But thank you to everyone that are tuning in, to myself and David. What a game this has been. I'll be back on commentary for Villa Rockets Lions versus Manchester United on Court A, and on Court B, as mentioned, Teesside Steel versus Manchester City. Thank you, David.
Thank you very much, Ryan.